Welcome back to A View to a Grill. I'm Johnny. Today we're going to use these Texas 1015 onions to create this awesome Texas onion burger, and we're going to do it all on the Golden's cast iron mini Kamado. The first thing we're going to do is start the fire. I'll be using the Golden's cast iron brand of lump charcoal as my fuel, and I'll be using the Superior Trading Company fire starters. I do have some leftover lump charcoal from my last cook, and we are going to use that. Let's go ahead and fire up the fire starter, and I will be using the small Weber kettle chimney starter since this is my mini Kamado. While the chimney starter is doing its thing, let's go ahead and make our hamburger patty. Now, what I have found when I purchase the Kroger 3-pound pack of hamburger meat, that I get 7 6.7 ounce patties. To assist me in making these patties, I'm going to be using a sheet of press and seal. I'll get our hamburger meat on the press and seal and then just kind of tear it apart, creating a rough round shape. And once I've done that, I can now fold that press and seal over, and then we'll start pressing out our patty, turning the patty as needed. And then when I was done, I had a patty that looked like this, and that patty was the same uniform thickness from edge to edge. Now, that didn't take long. The chimney starter is still going, so let's take this time to make the rub. To make our rub, we're going to be needing some kosher salt, coarse ground black pepper, some granulated garlic, and any unit of measurement. I'm going to be using this soup spoon. The reason why we can use any unit of measurement is because I'm going to be doing this in parts. We're going to use 2 parts of kosher salt, 2 parts of coarse ground black pepper, and then 1 part granulated garlic. Once you have all that in a bowl, just stir it up until you have a rub that looks like this. And the fire is still getting started in the chimney starter. So let's go ahead and make the sauce. For the sauce, I'm going to be needing some Bernie's Smokin' Red hot sauce, some coarse ground mustard, some honey, and some Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. I'll squeeze about 2 tablespoons of coarse ground mustard into a bowl. To that, I'll add 1 tablespoon of honey, about a teaspoon of Bernie's Smokin' Red hot sauce, a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Finally, a pinch of that rub we made earlier. Now you just want to give that a stir until it all comes together. Let's give it a taste just to make sure it's tasting right so far. I want to tell you, that is some zippy, tangy, sweet sauce. Fire is now ready, and it is time to set up the Golden's cast iron mini Kamado. Now that we see the edges ashing over on the charcoal, we can then pour that into the firebox of our mini Kamado. Now we just want to spread that fire out a little bit for even heat distribution. I already have my grates in, and now right on top of those grates, I'm going to put the Golden's cast iron sear plate down. I always like to spray it with a little oil and wipe it down. And we're going to want the sear plate to get to about 425 degrees Fahrenheit before we start cooking on it. Now once our sear plate is hot enough, it's burger time. I'll be using 2 USA products today, the Lamson barbecue tool set and the New West Knife Works chef's knife. If you like supporting companies that still make their products in the USA, check out my links in the description. For everyone who chooses to use my link, I want to say thank you so much for doing that. It really helps me and this channel a lot. Here is the star of the show. It is our Texas 1015 onions. These onions are grown right here in Texas. They come in all sizes. Here I have a little one, but today we're going to be using this big one. If I had to guess, I'd say it's a little bit larger than a softball. We'll just use our New West Knife Works knife to cut the top off, and then I'll use the heel of the knife to cut right down the side of the first onion leaf. And all it's going to do is make it easier to get that dried leaf off that we don't want to eat. I'll cut off these big thick slices. These slices are between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. I'll spray both sides with a little oil and season with salt and pepper. And now we can get our onion on the sear plate. I'll spray the sear plate with a little oil and then get our onion down. Next, I'll use my patty press and just set that right on top of the onion. I just want to get as much crust on this onion as possible. I gave that about 2 minutes, and now it's time to check on it. I'll go ahead and flip the onion, and then yeah, that happened. The rings came apart, but it was easy enough to put it all back together. This is the color that I got, and I was actually going for a little bit darker of a color, but we can fix that on the other side. Since the onion has relaxed, I won't need to put the patty press on it again. Since I gave it 2 minutes last time, I'm going to give it 3 minutes this time. It's been 3 minutes. Now let's check on that onion. And look at this. We're going to flip it over, and this is the color that I was going for. This is perfect. I'm satisfied with the onion, so I'm just going to put it on my cutting board. Now it's time to grill the patty, and I just want to show you how much larger this patty is than the bun. I made this patty about an inch larger than the bun because it's going to shrink. I want this patty to be an edge-to-edge patty to ensure that we get meat in every bite. Now, before we get the patty on, I want to wipe off the sear plate and clean it off. I'll then spray it with just a little bit of oil, and now I'll get the patty on the sear plate. I'll then get the hamburger press and then give the hamburger a small press just so we can get maximum searing on the patty. Now I'll just leave that press right on the hamburger patty and close the lid. And then 3 minutes later, we'll go ahead and check on our patty. Now I'm just going to peek underneath the patty to see how well it's searing, and at this point I determined that it needed another minute. So we're going to close the lid, give it another minute, and then a minute later I'm not even going to check it because I know it was close from the last time I checked it. So we just went in and flipped it. And then check out this sear we got and the crust that formed on this patty. Also, one thing that I want you to recognize is that that sear plate is a lot hotter now. For this side, we're only going to go about 3 minutes. Let's get the lid open, and I'm just going to push the patty to one side of the sear plate. I'll clean up the sear plate a little bit with my spatula and then get my buns down for toasting. And if you're wondering, these are just the St. Pierre buns that I bought from my local Kroger. Now we have the patty finishing up, we have the buns toasting. Once the buns get to a toastiness that you like, go ahead and remove your buns. I'm going to move the patty back to the center, and I'm going to go ahead and cheese it with some American cheese. The American cheese that I'm using is Boar's Head American cheese that I also bought from my local Kroger. Once you have the cheese down, you can then get your grilled onion and place it right on top. Look how big that onion was. It's almost as big as that patty. Let's get the lid closed, let the cheese melt, and now it's going to be time to put this thing together and check out our results. The cheese is melting, so let's go ahead and put some of that sauce we made on the bottom bun. Now it only took about a minute for this cheese to melt. So let's go ahead and grab it and put it right on top of the sauce we just spread on the bottom bun. And now check this out. This is exactly why we made the patty bigger and why we use the large onion. Is because everything is just about the same width, and it may not matter too much in taste, but to me it sure matters in presentation. Let's get some more of that sauce and put it right on top of that 10-15 onion, and then we're going to put the lid on it and check out this burger. Damn, that's a good looking burger. Then of course we need to let the burger pose for the camera. And now let's take a big old bite of this thing. And yeah, wow, that's a good burger. And oddly enough, let me tell you what I think the best part of this burger is. It's going to be this sauce right here. It is so tangy, so zippy with just the right amount of heat. This sauce makes the burger. It was a damn good burger all the way down to the last bite. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. You made it this far. Just go ahead and do it. Thank you for watching A View to a Grill. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, y'all.